Uh, the legend that is Mr. Don Swann. Great to see you, sir. On a
You too.
fine, we're in lockdown. A Sunday evening. It's looking a bit grey and misty. We've had no rugby. How are things? How are you doing in the most recent lockdown?
I'm okay. It doesn't feel like the first lockdown at all. I feel quite lucky. I'm here with my family. I've got things to keep me busy. Whereas a lot of the
Yeah,
other guys may be struggling a little bit more. Perhaps I don't know.
perhaps, maybe, or maybe they wanted a bit of downtime.
Yeah.
So let's jump straight in. I've been asking everyone, when did you get involved with the club? Now, I think you're, now without being too rude, although you might look on the younger end, Dom, you're pushing the higher end of the club. So when did you get involved? Talk me through it.
So I think it was midway through the 2001, 2002 season. I'd finished uni. I was at university in Bristol. I'd finished. One of the guys I played rugby with in uni, Gareth Fuge, he knew someone who played for Oldies. He said, "Look, come down and have a game." So I did. Sort of midway through that season. Ben Worthington was the captain back then, and obviously I'm still here.
Still here and going strong. Still going very, very strong.
It's very kind of you.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I think, Dom, you've probably firsthand seen the downfall and the progression of the club. I would say probably the most out of all players at the moment. Can you talk me through maybe some of the harder times of the club?
Yeah, so when I joined, we were a pretty solid Gloucester 2 club. I think we finished third in that first season. But from there on, it was kind of, we had maybe 5 seasons of struggling a bit in that league. It was some hard seasons, but we stayed up. Eventually, we did get relegated, and we had a few years at that level when we were rebuilding. We were always the sort of club, we were quite inconsistent. So I'm sure we had seasons where we beat everyone in the league, but we also lost to everyone. So we'd lose to the real dross, but beat the high flyers, and it just depends what sort of team we got out. So that's why for me, having gone through that, it's been absolutely brilliant to still be playing, as we've climbed the leagues now to Gloucester Prem.
Yeah, definitely. And some glorious games last year from yourself, particularly Smiths at home. If anyone can remember, man of match performance. Some compared you to Dan Carr. I don't know who, but some people did indeed. Yeah. So what do you think? Like, staying on rugby for just a second, what do you think has been the push that's got us to start climbing leagues? What's happened in the club, do you reckon?
I think it's probably two things for me. It's been an influx of younger players, which has been absolutely essential. When we were struggling, we didn't really have those youngsters coming through. We were much, the average, I don't know what the average age would have been, but I would guess 5, 6, 7 years older than it is now, definitely. So yeah, that input of younger players, which started with Potsy and the guys he's brought through from there. And it's just, I think it's the whole organisational piece. Obviously, Brooksy came in, and Charlie's taken it on since, and just having everything really well organised, so everyone knows exactly what they're doing on a match day or training. We've got all the stats kept, things like that. It just creates a more professional atmosphere, as well as, of course, the improved coaching as the years have gone on.
Yeah, indeed. If we jump back a little bit, back to the earlier days when you were involved with the club, can you talk me through some comparisons of socials then compared to now? Any things that stick into the memory at all?
I think we've always been a very good social club, and that's probably the thing that's kept me at the club through those hard times. It was, we'd always go out and have a really good social. What's changed? I mean, the numbers have changed. Obviously, we get more people going out now, but in many ways, not a lot has changed. We've always been a club that's gone pretty hard on a night out. We've enjoyed some fancy dress. We've enjoyed tours. I mean, I would say we do tour better than any other club I've ever come across. And so, the socials is probably one of the things that has stayed the same throughout my time at the club, really. And that's one of our real strengths.
Yeah. Well, you've touched on it there. So let's dive right in. Tours, Dom. Now, we've had some recent tours. So, brought up a few times in different conversations that we're going to hear about, but all we've already heard about. I don't know when I'm going to push you out live, Dom. But can we jump back to maybe some tours some of the younger boys might not know much about? Any memories from those?
Yeah, of course. So it's the international tours that stick in my mind. My first tour was, I think it's 2004. We went to Saumur in France and Loire Valley, and it was a tour. I've never been on a tour like it before or since. we got properly hosted by a French club. You know, they looked after us for the whole 3 days. They put on food for us. They gave us loads of wine. Even the day of the game, they put on some lunch with loads of wine to try and get us drunk. And wherever we went, you know, wherever we went in the town, the town knew we were oldies come to play against Samoa, and it was absolutely unbelievable. And that's probably what cemented me as an oldies member for life. Really, it was such an experience. Some people might be aware we went to Morzine and Geneva on a skiing tour a couple of years later, which was, again, just, you know, really pushing the boundaries of what sort of rugby clubs can do. But we played Geneva Rugby Club. They were the Swiss champions on the final day after 3.5 days skiing, and we beat them. Wasn't their first team, but it was, you know, they were still a pretty good side. And I think it just shows, you know, how tours and socials in general can bring the lads together. Some of the games on tour we played have been some of the best games I've ever played. The standards probably not been the best, but the commitment and, you know, the camaraderie has just been absolutely out of this world.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you get everyone involved as well on a game on tour. If you're touring, you have to get on the pitch. I seem to remember a few years ago in the Spanish tour, not probably one of the favourite tours in the last 10 years, but had its moments, and I definitely ran on in the final with a splint on my arm for about 10 minutes, just trying to play. And I've seen a lot of the older boys, Frank, getting involved and stuff on the pitch. Dom, is there, well, if we say 12A, do you have any stories that particularly come to mind? I'll put you on the spot. It's difficult.
I mean, yeah, I've got so many stories over the years, and I'll pick one out that I think is, you know, reasonable to tell. I won't name names. Obviously, what goes on tour should stay on tour. It never does these days. But I'm not going to name names. But this was my first tour as captain. So we went to Bournemouth. We played a game again, really good game. Played some really good rugby. I remember Sam Phillips just, you know, making breaks from all over the place. Never seen anything like it. But on the way back, we were trying to get a little bit more creative with what we do to the Virgins, and we said to the taxi driver, we had a minibus, said to the driver, look, can you drop us off a couple of miles out from the hotel, somewhere nice and quiet? So he did. So anyway, went found this sort of wooded area, and we took all the Virgins. There were 5 Virgins that day, and we left them with just their shoes, socks, and a £1 coin each. And we said, right, if you don't get back to the hotel within an hour, there's more punishment to come. So we all drove off, really pleased ourselves. Got back to the hotel. We thought, right, we'll drop our bags off. We'll go and set up over the road in the pub, and we'll wait for them. We've probably got a couple of hours of drinking before they make it back. And literally, we got up to our rooms, put our bags. We're on the way back out of the hotel, and these 5 Virgins, they burst through the front door, obviously whooping and cheering, absolutely delighted with themselves. They managed to make it back, and they almost beat us. And what happened was, they tried a couple of things. First of all, they tried flagging down cars. Absolutely terrified, an old couple. They had, you imagine, you know, 5 lads with stocks on their bits. And they thought, all right, this isn't going to work. So they tried another approach. They went over to a housing estate over the road, knocked on a couple of doors. No answer on the first one. Second one, woman answered, absolutely creased herself with laughter. Called her husband through. The husband said, right, lads, this happened to me last year on a motorcycle tour. He said, quick, jump in the car. We'll try and beat them back. So they all piled in. Back they came. What the guy didn't realise was one of our guys at the time, our second row at the time, big lad. He got a little bit nervous in the woods, and he couldn't hold it in, so he had to go for number 2 because they had nothing to wipe with. So he ended up leaving a bit of a skid mark down this guy's faux leather sports seats in the front.
Oh, that's great. Well, that's, you see, I pick every time, Dom. Every time I chat to you, I pick up a new story every time. that is awful. Good, thank you. That is a solid 12A story as well. I appreciate it. Moving on from tour a little bit and jumping back to the playing side of things. Now, while you have had that 10 shirt glued to you for, well, since I've been part of the club, but probably for at least, if not longer than 10 years before that, how do you feel about maybe some of the younger boys coming through, maybe putting a bit of pressure on you?
I think it's brilliant. You know, it's what every club needs to push on to the next level. But you know, I'm not ready to step aside just yet. I'm going to fight for the shirt. And you know, you can't put a price on experience, is what I would say. Which reminds me of a story actually of my previous club. I was a young up and coming 10. And there's an old guy there. He was, you know, a fantastic kicker, renowned across the county as a really good kicker. I said to him on a night out, I said, look, I think you're pushing on a bit now. I think I've got you. I think, you know, I want to take you on. Will you give me a kicking contest? He said, yeah. He said, sure. So meet me at the club tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. He said, I may be 20 minutes late. I said, yeah, fine, no problem. So I met him down there, 9 o'clock. He was there. We went around, we put a load of shots in from different places on the pitch. He didn't miss. I just could not match him. Absolutely unbelievable kicker, away they went. Congratulated him, we shook hands and I went home. And I just thought, well, actually, that could be a fluke. Everyone has one of those days, doesn't it? One of those days when everything goes right. So I phoned him up again. I said, look, will you give me a rematch? One more chance. He said, yeah, no problem. He said, meet me at the club tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. He said, but I may be 20 minutes late. I said, okay, yeah, that's fine, no problem. Got down there next day, 9 o'clock. He was there. So we went about it again. This time I saw him lining up his first kick. He was kicking off his left foot, whereas the previous day is off his right foot. I thought, he's taking the mickey. I'm going to teach him a real lesson here, okay? But the same thing happened. Did not miss a kick. Wherever he went on the pitch, off his left foot, bang, through they went. Couldn't match him. So at the end, look, I shook his hand, congratulating him. I said, look, I've never seen kicking like that. You kick off your right foot, off your left foot, no difference in skill. I said, how do you work out which foot to kick off? He said he's got a simple system. He said, when I wake up in the morning, I look across at my wife. If she's lying on her right-hand side, I kick off my right foot. If she's lying on her left-hand side, I kick off my left foot. I said, well, what happens if she's lying on her back? He said, well, then I'll be 20 minutes late.
Very good. That's such a random tangent. I didn't see it coming. I didn't see the story coming. Good. Thank you very much. That's maybe a comment to Will Appleton there to stay awake, because I guess you're always ready. You're always ready, Dom. Either foot. Amazing. Now you've completely thrown me off here. But if we stay with the club just for another minute or two, where do you see us potentially going? Because I haven't chatted to anyone else about this on any of these Zooms yet. What do you see in the future, assuming we're back to rugby like normal?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. I think in many ways we're punching above our weight at the moment. You know, we are a fairly small club. You look at the facilities we've got, and you look at some of the other clubs around us. I take St Mary's as an example. You know, when I started playing for Old East, St Mary's were a National League club. They were one of the top clubs in Bristol. Now we're the league above them, with all the facilities and stuff they've got. So I think we are punching above our weight, but there's no reason why we can't continue to do that. I mean, success breeds success. We've got a great bunch of lads, and we've got a really young bunch of lads at the moment. So if these guys can stay together with the committee we've got behind it and the coaching team, you know, there's no reason why we can't continue to challenge, certainly at the level we're at. And who knows after that? You know, it's a difficult question to answer, but I'm really positive about what this club can do.
Oh, yeah, inspiring. I'm sure people that are behind the scenes now watching this, anyone from the club taking part right now is going, yes, bring it on. We want more. Dom, as you can maybe see, I'm starting an attempt at the handlebar. Your Wi-Fi is not as good, so I can't tell yet whether you're going for the moustache or the handlebar as well.
I'll come a bit closer. It's not,
honestly,
but I'm going for the handlebar. Fair head, so it doesn't show that well.
It does usually come through though, strong for you. Yeah. But on that note, we are of course raising money for Movember. That's the reason we're having these Zooms, just to have a chat, boys, men having a chat together, catching up, raising some money for men's health. I've sort of been asking all the lads, and I've been having a bit of a mixture of answers back. So whatever is all good. But Dom, has there been any times that you've, I don't want to put you too on the spot, but maybe potentially like struggled with any of your mental health or just physical health that you've had to come through? You know, being a bit older, you've done very well, Tom. But potentially, you know, more down the mental side, and has the rugby club supported you, or have you just been plain sailing throughout?
I think I've been fairly level, but everyone struggles at times. But having that rugby club community behind me has always really helped, you know. And a lot of the time, it's the best kiffer is just getting together with the lads, having some beers, being silly, and it's as simple as that. And And I think at the moment, if you look at where the club's in a brilliant position, as we just discussed. That, you know, the playing side is brilliant. We've got a really strong committee behind us. But the one bit that we haven't been able to do because of COVID is that social side, really. So I don't know at the moment if there are guys in the club that are struggling, because, you know, we haven't been able to just have those chats. We haven't been able to integrate the new guys. And it's, you know, that's the bit that's lacking through no fault of our own. We've done everything we can, I think, to try and do that. But there may be guys out there, I'm very aware, there may be guys out there that are struggling a bit at the moment, feeling a little bit isolated. And I think it's really important that they know they are part of a community here. They're part of a, you know, a group of lads that will do whatever we need to support each other. And if people are struggling, they just need to say they need some help, and someone will help. That's the way it is with the rugby club, whether it's help with, you know, moving house or whatever, packing a van or whatever, or help, you know, they just need some friendship, some support, go out for a couple of beers, someone will help you. So I would say, look, don't be shy. If you're on the pitch and you want the ball, you're going to call for it. You know, off the pitch, if you need some help, you've got to call for it. You've got to say something, otherwise people aren't going to know. So, you know, just be brave and say what you need.
Oh, Dom, that's such a good point. Thanks for saying that, especially because you've just given the tagline for the Instagram there in a single moment. If you want the ball on the pitch, call for it. But if you want any help from the boys, you've got to also call for it as well. So, yeah, don't stay silent. Thanks for that. That was awesome. You sort of touched on it a second ago, and I don't want to not bring it up before we finish. Last year was going to be a big fucking year for you and the club. It was talk me through what was going to happen last year that we are going to do when it opens.
Yeah. So last year was my 40th birthday. I was 10th of April. So it coincided really well with the last home game of the season. So we were going to do a big bash down the club. I was going to bring a team of older boys together, both from Oldies and from other places I played. And we were going to play the second team, and then there's going to be the last league game, followed by a great big party night out, which obviously couldn't happen. And I don't think it's going to happen next year. So we're just going to have to keep rolling it on until we're allowed to do that again. So it might be my 42nd birthday by the time we get there, who knows? But we're going to do something big at some point, combine it with Ladies' Day or whatever we may do. But yeah, we're going to have that pie.
Well, one more year is turning into 2 more years. It's turning into 3 more years. I'm so sorry, Julie, but you know, you've got to hold on until you can have that. That's, you know,
yeah, I can't stop playing until we've done that. So, you know, that's the way it is.
That's the minimum. You have to see us climb up to at least the Prem before you can retire. Dom, it's been awesome chatting with you. Thanks for giving up your time. I can hear some of the girls in the background. I'm sure you've enjoyed a good 20 minutes away during lockdown. Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
All right. Cheers, Will. Speak soon.